What's up? It's your boy, Tomjhomerson,
And it's Paige, episode
back.
3.
We're ready for some stitiousness.
It's exciting. Look at us go, episode 3.
How you doing, Paige? You have a good week?
Huh. It's been long and it's Monday, right?
Unfortunately, it is.
Yeah, I worked the weekend, but I have tomorrow off.
Oh yeah, that's
So I'm
right.
gonna sleep in. It's
What do
gonna be
you
exciting.
What do you do at your job?
I'm a pharmacy tech, so I'm like a legal drug dealer,
Oh, okay,
you
okay.
know? But
I didn't know if you were still doing pharmacy tech stuff or if you had moved on.
yeah, now I do more like medical records type stuff. So I'm just typing
Mmm.
about patients' profiles as more of like the filling and all that. So it's all
Sounds
desk
super
job. So
fun.
I get to, yeah, at least I get to listen to music and stuff though.
That is the best, dude. I love the jobs when I get to go listen to music. Like this one, it sucks ass having to drive 2 hours every day. But
Yeah.
then all
Oh my
day
God, you
I
drive
get to.
2 hours?
Oh yeah, the job
What are
site's.
you doing now?
I'm doing the same thing. This job site's just 2 hours away, so it sucks.
Ye-
That's why I'm late today because I literally didn't leave Rushville, which is where we're working, uh,
Yeah.
until 3:30, and then I got back at my house at like 5:20.
I don't know if I could, especially with gas prices right now, I don't
Oh
know how you
well,
drive that
thankfully
much.
I don't have to pay for that. It's the work truck, so, but it is super
Oh,
expensive. It's like $140 every 2 days.
yeah, it's like freaking $80 for me to fill up my
But
car
dude,
right
but
now.
I haven't filled up my car like all the way in a few years. I literally
Well,
do.
I feel that though.
I spend like, well, I only have to drive like, I don't know, 10 minutes every morning and every afternoon when I get done. So I put like 10 to
Yeah.
$20 a week and I'm good.
Yeah,
It used
see,
to be
that's
10 bucks. Now
awesome.
it's more like $20, but
It's just like insane. And like we were talking about the groceries, just everything
oh
right
yeah,
now is so
it is
insane.
getting insane.
Yeah, absolutely hate it. I hope it evens out eventually, but we'll see.
Do you have anything interesting happen to you this week or you just been working?
No, not really. It just worked. I didn't really do much yesterday. My grandma had a birthday party
Oh.
and yeah, it was all awesome, right? But then I get there and my grandma and my mom, the party was over. So
Oh.
they let me drive all the way there just to tell me that the birthday party ended.
Well, that was rude.
I know. I was like, "Well, what do you want to do
You
now,
definitely
Mason?"
should be getting some compensation for that.
I know. I was like, "Let's go get a steak. I need a steak right now."
You didn't start the after party? That's what you're there for, I think. Well, the plan
Yeah.
was.
No, they were exhausted and I was like, "You guys should have just like told me. You remember we all have cell phones. You can call me."
Dude, that's one thing. I know that this has nothing to do with what you just said, but one thing I hate about working with my family, it makes going to like family get-togethers way. I don't want to do it most of the time.
Yeah,
It's like I'm
because you
going to
see them all the
work.
time. That's like, okay, I know like couples that work together and I don't know how they do that, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
That's insane. Like to constantly be with someone and then work with them.
hmm
No.
I worked with
Someone
Caitlin
would die.
briefly when she worked at Arnie's, but
Yeah.
we didn't see each other that often anyway during the
Yeah,
workday.
you weren't
So
like in the same
yeah.
department or like yeah, I gotcha.
Anyway, this week we're talking about a young, good-looking dude named Lars Mittank, who sadly disappeared and has not been seen since.
I was thinking too, you know how you walk by like 11 murders in your life? Do you think
Is that the
how many
statistic?
people It's like 11, but I've also seen 16.
Oh,
So,
that
I don't
sounds
know,
terrifying.
yeah, it is, but I wonder, like, how many people you've walked by that were missing or considered missing, you know?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Um,
It's insane.
so hold on. I gotta figure out where I am in my notes. Here's a photo of this young man. So I get the link all highlighted here. You're gonna have to forgive me. I am so fucking tired today.
I I feel you.
Pull this up. Get this sorted. This guy. This guy is Lars. There's a better picture of him. We'll get to that video in a minute. That's what he looks like. Pretty good looking dude. If I do say so myself. Doesn't look like he's
I
missing.
think so, I think he looks like a nice looking
I
man.
don't know how you would look like a missing person, but he does. Um, he was born in Berlin, Germany on February 9th, 1986. He lived
Mhm.
in a small town called Itzehoe. I can't. Okay, forgive me. This
Yeah.
is all in German, so I'm gonna try to pronounce this, though I'm sure it's all wrong.
Yes.
Um, Itzehoe,
Schleswig?
Schleswig,
Yep.
Holstein, Germany,
Killed it.
where he lived his entire life up until he was an adult, and then he liked to travel around Germany, though he did not leave Germany until this fateful trip he took.
Yeah. Yep. He was like your typical said he was pretty normal, even though I know that's not saying a lot, but he had
Right,
a
right.
job at a power plant. He was an engineer
Mm-hmm.
and he had friends and a girlfriend. And he had a really good relationship with his parents.
And keep in mind, he had a girlfriend back home because it'll be important later for one of the theories.
Yes, like one
Um,
of the thousand
yeah, well,
theories, mind
yeah.
you.
Speaking of that, I definitely don't have all the theories written down, just the most
Me
interesting
either.
ones I found. But there is like a million because he's still
Yeah.
missing. So I guess it kind of makes sense that there's still theories popping up all the time.
Yeah, people speculating.
Right.
Also too, we have to say that there's like so many different variations of stories and details that John might have one thing and I might have something completely different. Who knows?
Wait, give me 1 second. I forgot to turn this on. Do 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 do. Um. Shit. Where did I? Where did do? Okay, there you go. Yeah, by all accounts, he was described to be a normal person, and he loved traveling. On June 30th, sorry, not before this. Before this, him and his friends get together. They want to leave Germany for the first time, for his first time. I'm not sure if it was their first time, but Lars had
Hmm.
been like going through some stressful stuff at home. His dad had a stroke, and he moved away from his hometown, but he was still living in Germany, and he ended up having to. He lived pretty close to his hometown still, like he was like a town over or something. But he ended up
Hmm.
having to commute back home in order to take care of his dad, who recently had a stroke. Um,
And I think that shows too, like what an unselfish person he was, and like how much he really did care.
right. Uh, and then so they plan this trip. They're gonna go to Varna, Bulgaria, which is a super popular destination to go travel.
Hmm.
If you're from the States, you've probably heard of places like Panama City Beach, Florida. And it's kind of like that, where it's just a bunch of resorts, a bunch of partiers. It's like a party town.
Hmm.
So June 30th, 2014, 28-year-old Lars leaves the country of Germany with his group of friends. They fly into Varna. Sorry, I can't fucking talk. Varna, Bulgaria. Um,
Yeah, and it was five. He had five of his friends.
okay.
Um, I think a couple of them were childhood friends too, so people that knew him for a long time.
Right. And walking through the airport, there may be some construction going on, which may be important later in the story. Quite possibly. There's like a bunch of different variations, so maybe construction. They end up checking into a resort called the Golden Sands. Also, kind of weird because I heard they either checked into the Golden Sands Resort or they checked into the Viva or Vivo Resort.
Hmm.
The problem with this story, one of the problems with this story, is I guess in Germany. So you've heard of like 60 Minutes, right?
Yeah,
The show.
yeah.
Um, in Germany,
In
they
60
have
minutes.
they have like a station that does things like 60 Minutes, but
Okay.
they only give you like the official police narrative that the German police come up with, and so they don't like explain any of these different caveats or like side theories. They just pick
Hmm.
the like, most concrete one, and that's what they go with. But there is so many discrepancies in this story
Yeah.
that so I'm gonna give you the official like police timeline first of all, and then we'll go back through and we'll discuss some of the changes. I mean,
Okay, that sounds good.
maybe. Oh, sorry, let's take it back.
Oh.
The first information I'll give you is the official one, and then if I say like he checked into the Golden Sands, but there's also like people saying it was the Vivo Resort. That's because the Golden Sands is the official story, but other people had other things to say, like it was the Vivo Resort instead.
That probably makes sense on why I've seen so many
Right.
different details,
Because I've heard that I can't remember what the channel, I didn't have it written down, I don't think, but there's a channel in Germany that it's kind of like 60 Minutes. They do all this true crime stuff. But there's
Yeah.
also other channels in Germany that follow like the other parts of the story. And I don't know, have you ever heard of Delphi, like the Delphi killer? I'm sure you probably have.
Yeah, I have.
So here where we live, there's a prominent story about this guy who he murdered two kids in the woods, like 2017, I think, and he's still like out there. Never was caught. They have a bunch of like information. They never got this guy. And like there is some insane theories popping up about this man every single day. So I'm sure that's the same reason why there's still crazy theories popping up about this story every day.
I thought they
But
didn't they catch him? I could be
no,
wrong.
they didn't. He's still out there.
Okay. I
They,
thought that they were closing in on that, or they had
well,
some maybe.
they
Okay.
closed in on a really good suspect, and then that's like the
Mm.
last I've heard about it. So I don't think it was actually that guy. And there were still
Okay.
some discrepancies in that story as well. But anyway,
Oh,
back to
yep.
this.
Okay.
So they get to the Golden Sands. uh
Mm.
and they spend the first, like, I think it's the first week there. It may be more like 4 days. I can't remember how many days it was exactly, but about a week. This They interviewed one of his friends named Paul Roman, I think is how you pronounce it.
Mhm.
And he said that the first week went by really fast. They spent time at the beach, they went to the pool, they were playing football and clubbing, and Lars seemed like he was relaxed and in a great mood. And then another friend who was also interviewed, named Tim Schultz, claimed that other than not eating much, Lars was acting completely normal during this part of the trip. Now, this is the official police narrative. There's been other interviews with his friends that described him completely different, but we'll get to that in a bit. Um, and then on July 6th, 2014, it's the day before they go to leave. Hold on. So they get there on the 30th, and then July 6th. So that's the week they spent partying. On July 6th, the day before they leave Varna, they go to this foot that not sorry, that's not a football club. Lars is like super into football, aka soccer if you're not cultured. And his favorite team is the Werder Bremen, which
Yeah, good
is
job.
the team of his hometown.
Mhm.
And much like any sports fans, if you're on the opposing, you're a fanboy of the other team, you get incredibly aggressive for no reason. So Lars gets into a disagreement at this bar on the day before they're supposed to leave back to Germany, with some fans of the football club Bayern Munich. Um, and they have some choice words with each other and whatever.
Mhm.
And then the night goes on. Um, the bar they're at is called the Mystery of the Golden Sands, by the way. Um, so Lars leaves the bar and he parts ways with his friends. His friends end up going to McDonald's and then back to the resort. Uh, According to the police, his friends didn't know where Lars went. Um, but he just went out on his own. And then Lars shows up the next morning, and he's been beaten up. And he tells his friends two different stories, according to the
Mhm.
police. He tells some of his friends that he was beaten up by the four men he got in an argument with that night. And he also tells his other friends that the four men hired four other guys to come beat him up that night. Um, Either way, he had injuries. He had a busted jaw, like a fractured jaw, I think is what I read.
Mhm.
Sorry, I guess I should say I had there was a bunch of like injuries he had or may not have had. The jaw was one of them where
Yeah.
he had some injury on his jaw. Some places said it was fractured, some places said it was ruptured. I don't know what that even means. And some places said that he just had like a messed up jaw. So he had some kind of jaw injury. He also had a ruptured eardrum,
Yeah, and that's like the
which
main
yeah,
one.
that's the important one. And so suffering from pain, he goes to the local doctor. Um, the day they're supposed to leave, I suppose, because it's yeah, that makes sense. The day they're supposed to leave, he goes see a doctor. The doctor tells him because you're ruptured eardrum. Also, sorry if you can hear that dog in the background squeaking a toy crazily. He's super cute. I can hear him.
He's having a good
He's
time.
having a great time. Um, so the doctor tells him your eardrum's fucked. You can't fly because the pressure is building your head, and I guess that'll cause permanent hearing loss or something.
Yeah.
Um, he gets prescribed a antibiotic called cefprozil.
Mhm.
Um, Lars' friends apparently wanted to stay with him, but Lars insists they stick to the original schedule,
Yeah.
and his friends take off. They go back to Germany.
I think that was like a big moment too. just in
Oh yeah,
general, you
absolutely.
know? Yeah,
Um,
because it seems like all downhill from here.
so I can't imagine going to another country. I mean, I know I'm from the States, and so it's it's hard to imagine going to a different country because I've never been out of this country. And
Me
I know
either,
it's a
yeah.
lot easier for people in Europe because they're all pretty close together.
Yeah.
Um, but I can't imagine being injured outside of the country and then letting my friends go
I
back
know,
home
I feel
without
like
me.
I would be that selfish one that's like, Buddy says, "I need
Like,
one
can
other person to
right?
stay
That's what
here."
I would say. Like, can I have like one of you guys? And I
Yeah,
guess
like,
I don't know if it's a thing in the States at all because I'm not a huge traveler, and when I do travel, I don't travel like abroad. But there's a
yeah.
thing called travel insurance too that I
Mhm.
guess will pay for you to get back home in this kind of situation if you're injured. But like, so I don't know. Maybe it's a money thing of why they didn't stay. According to some other
That's
stories,
true,
that
yeah.
his friends were all prepared to stay, and he was super insistent that they leave.
Maybe also too he was feeling he's like, "I don't wanna be a burden, like, if you guys need to go home,"
Right.
maybe in that standpoint, I don't know how he was feeling, but maybe
But
he didn't wanna be that
also,
person.
there and one other. I mean, we'll touch on this later on, but like he could have got on a bus to go home.
Yeah, I mean,
It wasn't that far from
yeah,
home.
yeah, right. Well, it's hard to say too because later on, and I'm sure you'll get to it, that the doctor also said that he's not okay to fly and drive. I don't know where that came from
Right. Right.
or yeah, so I don't know if that was when he was talking to this doctor
Mm.
or, I don't know.
Um. So his friends check out of the resort and they go back to the airport and they leave Lars and Lars ends up taking a cab and going to another hotel called the Hotel Color Varna, which
Mhm.
is a hotel that's really close to the resort. And he only books a stay for one night because I guess now this is weird and I don't understand ear injuries or maybe this is like one of those discrepancies and I haven't heard another version of this yet. But
Yeah.
if you have a ruptured eardrum, why would they let you like you can't fly home today, but you can probably fly home tomorrow? Which is what it seemed like
Yeah,
the
I
story
know.
was.
Well, he also sees another doctor too.
Right,
So,
right. But he goes to see the other doctor, I think. At least the official story is he goes to see the other doctor to check in to make sure he can fly today. But that
yeah.
seems crazy that it
That,
takes just 24
you
hours to
know,
be able to fly.
And I just said too that he said that he wasn't allowed to fly or drive, but now that I'm thinking about it, didn't he like take a taxi everywhere?
Right.
So that kind of puts a hole in that too, right? Or am I
It's just such a weird story. I feel, and a lot
It
of it,
is, yeah.
I know Bulgarian language. I don't know if they speak Russian there or if they have their own language, but they do have a pretty Cyrillic looking language, so they don't speak German. And I wonder if there's been just a lot of fucking missed information and translations.
Well, I think so too, because he was getting treated by one doctor, and it may have even been this first one, and like the doctor wasn't able to really speak English, and
Right.
there was he got frustrated too.
And I didn't get the name of this first doctor, but I don't think it's the same doctor he goes and sees at the airport the next time.
No, I think that's a whole nother one.
Right. Okay. Just making sure
But
we weren't getting confused there.
no, I know.
Um,
There's too many doctors.
I know. And too many fucking stories from the same doctor.
I know.
So yeah, they leave Lars alone. He goes to the color Varna, checks in for which is just one night. Um, now this is also a conflicting thing where some people will say that the
Mhm.
color Varna is a sketchy hotel,
Right.
but I have a video. Not oh yeah, it's a video of the hotel color Varna. Oops, that's not how that works. Tried to put a link into the YouTube search. That did not work. Mute this because there's music on it. Switch my
Well, they did
screen.
say it was more of a poor area, but there was also someone saying something about sex trafficking, but then I heard that that wasn't true at all. So
Yeah,
I don't know either.
I saw a lot of information, and you can just look at this while we talk over it.
Yeah,
A lot of information about like conflicting stories and whether the this particular
how
area of Varna is like home to
dangerous
criminal
or
activity or not.
yeah.
And honestly, it doesn't look like it's any more home to criminal activity as like Panama City or like Vegas is. Like, of course, there's crime there, but There's so much
It might
partying
not
and stuff
be
going
in.
on. It's not like
Yeah.
no criminal's gonna be one gonna be one like in the middle of a party trying to do some crazy shit. I wouldn't think. I mean, maybe that's the perfect disguise, but
Yeah, I
this
mean, it's kinda
place,
hard to say, I've never been there, but I
yeah.
did the multiple reports, you know?
And this, I mean, obviously these are all stage photos, so they're not gonna make it look sketchy.
Yeah,
But
they're not gonna do
like,
anything crazy.
I don't know. This looks like a like really well done up rooms to be in a sketchy part of town. I mean, I've seen Motel Sixes in the town where I
I've
live that
stayed
look
in some
sketchy.
pretty rough motels,
Same.
to be honest. Yeah. With a
But
bullet
doesn't look
hole in
like
the
an awful
wall, yeah.
place. Oh yeah, actually, hold on. I also think I have a video of Varna. We're up here. Yeah, drone footage of Varna. Throw that up
Is
here.
oh, just in general? Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, so you can see the layout of the
The
city. I meant to
area.
do that earlier and I totally forgot.
No, I gotcha.
There's some city here. It's a lot of woods. So Varna is like surrounded on all sides by not all sides, I don't think, because the sea is on one side. But it's
Yeah.
surrounded by a lot of wooded areas and like forestry.
I did hear that, but I also heard that it was almost like a city park, like some of them were, not all of
Yeah.
them, but like the one in particular that we're gonna be talking with him, it seemed like it was more of like a city park.
But yeah,
And I don't know how accurate that is.
here's some footage of Varna from a drone. I mean, it looks, if you've ever seen Panama City Beach, it kind of looks like that. Like it's just a party town. And it's got some cool like Russian looking buildings in it, and there's a stadium here. There's a whole lot of woods surrounding the thing. A whole lot of it.
Yeah.
Of course it's on the
It
Black
does kind of,
Sea.
yeah. There is a lot of buildings though within the woods
Right.
too.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So,
Hold on, I'm trying to find the resort specifically. Okay. Here's some of the resorts. This may even be the Golden Sands. They all kind of look the same.
mm,
I had a video of the Golden Sands, but then I was gonna show this video since
I mean, I
it's
do see
probably in
Golden
here
Sands,
somewhere.
so
Exactly.
I'll take it.
Yeah, that's what Varna looks like. Oh yeah, switch this back to this screen. Um, shit. Where was I at?
He's at the hotel.
Um,
So he's in the Color Varna for one night.
yes, he is. Yeah, it's cheap. It's next to the airport. His friends leave on July 7th.
Hmm.
Um, and I guess now the official story is Lars starts acting paranoid and weird after they
Hmm.
leave. Um, while checked into the hotel color, Lars calls his mom Sandra and starts whispering to her that people are trying to rob him and kill him and that she needs to cancel his credit cards. And this
Yeah,
is
he said that
like
didn't he say
completely
the
out of the
hotel
blue.
copied his credit card too? Like
Yes, yeah,
he
that
they
was one of the
copied it.
stories too. That I guess he saw the front clerk copy, like write down his credit card number. And he thought that was really weird.
I don't
Which
know if yeah.
it could be really weird, unless maybe their system's down and they had to write it down for later, or maybe they have to write it down just in case something happens with the room. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I would hope that they would say something, you
Right.
know.
But
But they could
also,
have
they
just been
might
like,
not even
yeah,
speak German. I don't
that's
know if
true.
Lars
I
speaks
don't know
Bulgarian
either.
or Russian or wherever they speak in Bulgaria.
Particular area, yeah.
It looks like Russian, so it might be Russian, but I'm not totally sure. Um, all Cyrillic languages kind of look the same to me, being an idiot.
Well, if he's already paranoid and then like he can't communicate or the communication is
Right,
not completely there, I could
right.
see where yeah, they probably do have different techniques.
And this footage is not on the internet, that as far as I can tell. But according to the police in Germany, there is CCTV footage of him in the hotel color, pacing the halls and looking out windows and being paranoid, and he even hides inside the elevator for a long time.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I couldn't find the video either, but I did see that a couple places too.
Right, yeah. Which I guess it's CCTV, so unless they take it and put it on the internet, it wouldn't be available anywhere across the web. Um, on July 8th, it's the next day, but it's like
Well,
1 a.m. Um, what were you saying something?
did you I don't know if we're going to talk about it, but did you also see the part too where apparently he like left for an hour?
Yes, I was about to get there.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're
I'm so
fine.
sorry.
At 1 a.m., Lars is seen on the security cams leaving the hotel for about an hour, like you said. Um, It's
Bet.
unknown what he did during this time, according to police. When he gets back, he calls his mother again and tells her, sorry, that his pursuers were getting pretty close to him and he was going to be killed. Um,
Yeah, and that's like I don't know what his mom like in that moment getting a phone call from your son just acting like that
right.
randomly. I would definitely feel like that would be like red flags, like
Yeah,
especially the paranoia. I'd
you
be
would
like,
think
okay, hold
so,
on.
but from the other reports
Yeah.
about this time, it sounds like she was totally going along with it. She
I
was
mean, she's
calling the
all in.
bank.
Well, cause she doesn't know either. Yeah, she did cancel
Well, she tried
the credit
to.
card.
I guess she tried to call him back. So she calls the bank and asks them, "Can we like?" The way it was worded was she asked if she could cancel the cards and then like get them back online once he's back home, which they said they couldn't do. So she tried to call him back to tell him that, and he didn't answer. And then he calls her back again later and says that he's gonna be dead soon, and they're getting closer. At this time, she's also contacting the travel insurance place to see if she can get him like a sooner transport back home, like through bus route, I guess, instead of
Yeah.
waiting for the plane ride, which makes the most sense. I don't know why you wouldn't just get on a unless it's a money issue. I can totally understand if it's a money issue,
I think
but
she
it
was
would seem
also
like if you could
yeah.
travel abroad to this place, you could have enough money for a ticket back home. I don't know.
Maybe she was worried that he wouldn't be able to get on the plane, so she was like, "Well, he needs to come home." So then
Right,
she
right.
also bought the bus ticket.
Yeah, and she does actually buy the ticket. She has a ticket for him. And I think she tries to even give him the information and he just doesn't take it at this
I
point in
think
time.
I saw too, and I don't even know if this is accurate, but she told him to write it down in case
Right,
his
yeah.
phone died.
Yep.
Yeah.
Um and then at this point, I according to the police at least, this is the last contact he has with his mom that night. Um and then the same day, obviously, Lars arrives at the airport the next morning. Apparently, now this is also conflicting because the official report makes it sound like Lars arrives with enough time to like go see the doctor and then get on board to go home. But there's also reports that he gets to the airport like 4 hours early for his flight, which I've never flown. Maybe 4 hours is regular, but that seems really excessive.
Yeah, that's like super extra, and I like to be early.
For um, when he gets back to the airport, he texts his mom that he made it to the airport, and then he goes to see the airport doctor to get cleared for his flight. And the doctor's name is Dr. Kostov, and this fucking guy can't get his story straight to save his life, it sounds like.
He changed it like 3 times.
So, according to Dr. Kostov, Lars was nervous and erratic. However, after looking at his ear, he was cleared to fly back home. But after being told this, Lars brings up he has doubts that the medication he's on is actually going to do what it's supposed to be doing.
Mhm.
Um, and then some point in this conversation, according to Dr. Kostov, one of Dr. Kostov's stories, I guess the one that the police believe the most, a construction worker walks in to the office, which is also another weird thing because now I don't know about other countries and their practices, but I can only
Just
imagine.
wander
Yeah,
in.
I can only imagine that if you're in a doctor's office, that construction workers aren't just gonna walk in. But apparently, a construction worker just wanders into the office, into the
Maybe he thought
room.
it was the bathroom.
I
You
don't
know,
know.
who knows? Yeah.
But according to Dr. Kostov, this sets Lars off, and he yells something along the lines of, "I don't want to die here. I have to get out of here." And he jumps up and bolts out the office. He leaves behind all of his shit, all of his belongings, his wallet, his cell phone, clothes, passport, literally everything he needs. Um, and he runs out of the office, runs to the terminal. He gets outside, he climbs the fence, and he's like headed towards a foresty area. And this is the last time he's seen. And that is the official police story. Um, but there's a little bit more to that. So, according to his mother,
Mhm.
there's also footage that isn't. I'll show you the footage in just a second of him running out because this is like the most famous missing persons case on the internet because it's been seen like 16 million times. I don't have the original video that has 16 mil on it, but I got the same one. Um, According to his mom, when the police brought her in to show her the CCTV footage of him leaving the airport, there was also other footage of him after crossing the fence. You'll see in the video, like you'll see him cross a fence, and then he runs out of frame, and then like that's it. Apparently, he runs into a forest after that. But according to his mom, there's more footage of him like being sneaky and like secret agenting his way around like police cars and other people before
Like not
going
to
off
be
camera
seen.
and being unseen. Yeah. Um. Anyway, here is the footage of him leaving the terminal. Hold up here. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Oh.
It is such a bizarre video too. I mean, no wonder
Very.
some people because it's just like, what's going on?
It's even more bizarre. You'll see in a second. He's okay. He's like running for his life the first 10 seconds, and then he gets outside and he's just kind of like briskly jogging. I would say at the most.
Yeah, like chill. Yeah.
Yeah, this is him, obviously circled with all of his stuff. He goes into the doctor's office.
He looks like a normal day,
Yeah, he
right?
looks fine, and then all of a sudden he's bolting out,
Like
running
that
for his
lady
life.
knows something's happening.
Yeah, if I'm in an airport and I see someone running like that,
I would
I'm
be that
joining them.
lady. I'd
I'm
be like,
going with
"What's
them.
yeah, what's happening?" Yeah, there must
I'm
be like a fire
I'm
or
gonna match
something.
that energy. Get the hell out of there. That's funny. Earlier, I was looking for like, does anybody notice him? And I didn't even see this fucking lady here that noticed him.
That lady is like, "Hold on."
But he gets outside and then he like
It's
stops
insane.
running. He's still like jogging, but he's like doesn't look like he's running for his life at this point, which is kind of weird. But because
Yeah, like
evidently he is. Um, he runs out of frame. I think there's a. I'm pretty sure there's a video of the fence.
yeah, there I think there is at one point too.
And at this
It's
point,
weird
he's
because
just
the video
walking.
just gets worse and worse like
Yeah, right.
quality-wise too.
And then that's according to the German police, that is it. Now, apparently his mom saw other video, and I don't know, so it's kind of hard to tell from this video, but go back here a little bit. It looks like he's heading just towards a wooded area, but evidently he ends up near some police cars and some other people at the airport after this video. That's what his mom says, at least, that she was seen or shown
Yeah.
by the police.
Mhm. Interesting.
Um,
Oh yeah, she did say that she saw additional footage too. Oops.
this is like the girl from the Cecil Hotel. It looks very mentally unstable. Yeah, actually,
That's what I thought too immediately when I saw that.
gets compared to at least Alam a lot. Um,
Yeah, it's just that like yeah, that almost like a schizophrenia, you know, type of behavior, like the paranoid
right.
schizophrenia, like people are out to get you.
Speaking of that, afterwards, of course, Lars's mother claims he has had no history of mental illness or any
Yeah.
signs of paranoia before this incident. He
And
has no
schizophrenia doesn't run in their family, not
right. Yeah, I
that
was gonna
it
say
necessarily has to,
the
but
family has no history of mental illness.
Mhm.
Now here's some interesting information and some more conflicting shit. So cefprozil, the antibiotic he was on, is supposed to be like a very intense antibiotic, which I didn't even know was a thing. But I guess it's got some rare side effects that cause hallucinations and paranoia. But according to one of Dr. Kostov's stories, oh yeah, sorry, I'll get back to that. So Dr. Kostov, he's got literally 3 stories. Every single time the police bring him in for questioning, he changes his story, which typically would be like, what? This guy has got something to do with it for sure, but he definitely does not.
Mm.
So the first story, and I don't know if you remember this, but I think there's a tale where nobody walked in the room, and Lars just gets up and leaves. I
Mhm.
think that's his first story. That Lars, like,
Yeah.
nothing happened. Lars just got fucking crazy and ran out. Okay, and then he says that no, actually, I think he said a police officer walks in the room, and Lars freaks out and runs away. And then the final story was no, it was actually a construction worker that walks in the room and sets Lars off. So one of those 3 tales is the truth.
Yeah, he also like at one point was saying that he said that he had to go to the bathroom
Oh
and
yeah,
he was like,
that
"I'll
was a
be right
story.
back."
Yeah, sorry, that
Yeah.
was the first one. Lars goes to the bathroom, then runs out, doesn't come back.
Yeah. And also
Um,
too, he had to sign a waiver to fly. So that it's kind of funny because he's like, "Well, I don't think anything's gonna happen to you, but just in
right.
case, sign this."
Um, So, according to Dr. Kostov, also multiple stories, the first time he tells him that Lars was prescribed cefprozil. There's also conflicting stories that he was prescribed something else, but
Mhm.
cefprozil and whatever the other one was called, they're literally the same drug. One's just the generic and one's the name brand. Um, but according to Dr. Kostov, the first time Lars hasn't taken, like, he had all the medication was still there. Okay, and the next time Dr. Kostov says that actually he didn't see the medication because Lars never filled the prescription. And then finally, the third time, he claims that Lars only took like 3 of the pills when he was supposed to take a bunch more or something.
Yeah, I saw that there was like 3 different stories with that as well.
Yeah. So,
There was like a whole thing too about how Lars is like, I think he had a vegan diet and he was really like conscious about what he put in his body. If it
yeah.
wasn't a vegan diet, it was like an athletic diet.
Yeah.
So I could see him being a little skeptical about this type of medication. You know,
Right.
I don't know if he's that type of person, but some people
And
don't. Yeah.
one thing that I forgot to mention earlier is while he was back at the Hotel Color and in between calling his mom, at some point he texts his mom and
Oh yeah.
it says something cryptic like what is Cefpro or something like that. Something he was clearly referring to his medication and he was clearly confused as to either what it was or what it was for. But
Yeah, he
the
said.
message just said like what is Cefpro or something.
Yeah, he said a Cefazil 500. What is that?
Yeah. So
Um,
he he may not have even taken it or he may have not. That makes me believe he had the medication, so he probably had the prescription filled if he's
Yeah, because
asking
I
about
felt
it.
like there was a problem. I saw a story too where he went and got it filled, and then they didn't have enough of the tablets, so then he had to go to another pharmacy and get the rest of the tablets. I don't know how accurate that is, but there was that whole situation too.
Right.
If it was even a problem getting it.
So this Dr. Kostov can get a story straight to save his fucking life. He may have thrown this whole investigation, to be
I feel
honest.
like it's funny because he probably was just not necessarily funny, but I feel like he was just nervous maybe too, you know?
Probably.
Like,
I
wait,
mean,
what?
you're the last person to actually communicate with somebody who's now missing.
And you just thought he was like an average dude that was just maybe a little,
But also, I feel like
nervous.
if you know you're gonna get interviewed because this guy that you're the last person to see is now missing, you're gonna get
You
that
the
fucking story
details.
straight.
I could see him being in his head, he's, like, practicing it all morning, and then they ask him, he's like, "Fuck."
And yeah, and I don't know what the like. I don't know the amount of time between when they interviewed him the first time to the third time, but
Yeah.
maybe that's part of it too, where he forgot some details or remembered some details. Who knows?
Or, like, "Are you sure you're not forgetting anything?" And then he, like, overthinks it and then makes
Right,
up details that didn't even happen.
right.
No, he shoulda
Um,
got his shit together eventually for sure. I mean,
yes,
how many
but
chances do
I
you
don't
need?
know which of these stories is the actual one, but they're all his stories. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, once he left the airport, Lars is like gone off the face of the earth. There's no clues as to where he has been or where he went or anything. There's a huge search effort. They don't find him. They use dogs to track us down. The dogs can't track his scent into the woods at all, actually. Um,
Yeah, there was some witnesses too, right? Or is that, like, a whole whole 'nother thing too, where technically there were some witnesses that saw him, like, jump a barbed wire fence
yeah, yeah,
and
there
go
was
to the
some.
woods? There was, like, that weird
Yeah,
thing too.
there were some weird
But
stories like that too that they weren't picked up by the German police because they didn't think they were credible enough. But also a
yeah.
lot of information that might have been credible didn't get included as well. So
Yeah, that's true too.
um,
But like how you're saying too, the forest there, at least the specific forest that he would have went to, wasn't even that big really. So,
well, not only that,
mm,
but apparently this for Varna has a large population of people who love foraging in this particular forest, and
oh,
no one's ever found his body or any evidence of him being
yeah,
there, which sounds crazy, but I guess there's a lot of like
wildlife.
examples. Well,
Oh.
not only that, I think with wildlife you probably find something somewhere, like a
Yeah,
bone,
and I think it would take a lot longer too to
right?
like actually, yeah,
But also, I mean, he was hiding in the elevator for a long ass time in the hotel, so maybe he found a hiding spot in the woods, and that's still where he is to this day. That no one's checked because it's a good hiding spot. Just a theory. But also, um, There's been a lot of other cases where people have gone missing. They'll do a huge search, they don't find anything, and then somebody else just happens to find them in the exact place they searched. Which kind of happened with the Delphi case. They searched the area and then came back and ended up finding the bodies of the two girls. So maybe they just missed the body, but no one's ever found it or found evidence of it. Which it seems like his body's not in the forest, if you ask me,
I
or
don't
it's
think
really
it
well
is
hidden.
either. Yeah. Um,
Um,
no, I like the concussion theory. That's
right,
what
yeah.
I would think that
Um,
they when they got in the fight.
right. Sandra Mittank, Lars's mother, is super unsatisfied with the Bulgarian police totally blundering the investigation. It sounds like, I mean, not just the police, the doctors as well. She ends up hiring her own private investigator named Andreas Gutig, I think, who went around checking hospital records for any indication of any patients there that could be Lars confused, thinking that maybe he lost his memory as like a further side effect or mental health issue. But found nothing. Lars was actually experienced in hunting, fishing, and trapping,
Hmm.
but the locals there say the heat in the summer combined with the lack of wildlife in the area would be unsustainable, so he's probably not out in the woods still. Um, his mother is still convinced he's alive. A year after, sorry, we're going to get back to some of the theories in a second. Um, I just want to get the whole story, and then we'll
Hmm.
we'll we'll climb back in.
No, I
Uh,
gotcha.
a year after the disappearance, a truck driver claims to spot someone matching Lars's description hitchhiking in Varna. Um, but other than the story, that's all they had to go off of. Um, 5 years after this disappearance, in 2019, um, a truck driver in Germany who was also made aware of the case gave a ride to the man who he says remembered who resembled an older looking Lars, um, with very long hair, a beard, looked very tired and very bony, like he wasn't eating correctly. Um, Lars Mittank is the most famous person to go missing on YouTube, apparently, with 16 mil views. I think I already said that once, maybe. Um, and now we can get into some crazy ass theories as to what fucking happened. Um,
uh, yeah.
so the first theory, and I think the most credible one, is that Lars just at a happenstance had his first mental break from reality in Bulgaria.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
it's very possible. Definitely like the paranoia that he was
right.
having.
And a lot of
Um,
times, sorry, go on.
no, it's just saying like also too when he called his mom at the hotel that day, he was like talking like the room was bugged.
Oh, right, yeah,
And
yeah. He kept saying the people were recording him.
yeah, and then before he even well, when he first got into the airport, he was well, before he got to the airport, told his mom that he was being followed by four men and saying that he was hiding, he was high up and could fall down. So I was thinking maybe he was hiding in a tree,
Mm,
possibly. Because
maybe.
also there was one point to be when he arrived at the airport and called his mom, he was telling her that he looked a little bit of a mess, and then she told him to clean up in
Oh,
the
right, yeah.
bathroom. But
And
so that's definitely odd behavior there, you
right,
know?
and a little bit more like concrete information that kind of makes me believe that this is the like the right thing that happened. The right theory is that Lars is like in the perfect, like this is the, statistically speaking, Lars is at the perfect age for him to develop a mental illness.
Mhm.
Um, Not only that, a lot of times these things are triggered by stress in our lives, especially unexpected stress, like maybe your dad having a stroke and having to take care of him, which he was.
Mhm.
Not to mention the fact that he may or may not have been beaten up by four guys, which is just as terrifying,
Mhm.
especially when you're in a foreign country and you're alone wandering the streets. Um,
And maybe people were following him like in the fact of like trying to rob him, you know? I
right,
heard he
yeah,
was wearing like an Adidas shirt, not that that necessarily means anything, but people might have thought he had money, so maybe there really was and it was like sparking that paranoia even more.
right. There's also theories that once he got into the woods, after he ran from the airport, that due to the adrenaline rush, which After watching the video again, I don't know if this is really gonna be anything because he didn't look like he was still like running for his life once he got out of the airport. It looked like he was just taking a brisk jog, but
Yeah.
maybe the adrenaline, he ran for miles and miles and then eventually got dehydrated and died somewhere, probably hiding like he was.
Mhm.
Um, of course, I mean people can run for like fucking ever. That's why we're so good at hunting apparently back in the day, when we had sticks and clubs and stuff. Um, yeah. So I think that's what happened. He had a mental break. Yeah, maybe he also during the beating got some kind of brain damage or brain stem damage resulting
I
in
mean, I definitely
this
think it's a
happening.
possibility for a concussion, only if you really did get jumped by those
Right.
guys, and got hurt because there was one point too when he arrived at the airport, the taxi driver that was with him said that he had like dilated eyes. Now maybe he could have
Oh
been
yeah,
taking
yeah. I forgot that
something,
one too.
but also like dilated eyes you can
Right.
get from a concussion. So
Right.
I think it could be, and maybe
Now,
he just doesn't remember who he is. I don't
the
know.
only thing that gets me about the concussion theory is you would
Yeah,
think the first doctor, now obviously Dr. Kostov, the one we've heard about the most, didn't
he's
really
not
give us
reliable.
didn't really give us that good of an impression about Bulgarian doctors, but maybe the first doctor, I would think he would have noticed, hey, you got a concussion, but
Yeah,
maybe not,
maybe.
or maybe he didn't even bring it up that he had a concussion. Who fucking knows?
Yeah, I
Um
don't know. Maybe it just took a little. I don't know. I have no idea, honestly. Like this case is so odd.
Now,
I mean, the mental illness definitely is probably the most
yeah.
probable.
That's what I think. The at least the now obviously I don't know where Lars is. I think he's still out there, probably confused and maybe thinks he's a homeless person now or something. Um, it's actually kind of hard to diagnose concussions. Well, shit. I actually have you ever had a concussion before?
No, but no, I've never had a. Have you?
Not that I know of. I've been knocked out once with a car door,
Yeah,
but I don't know if I was concussed. I would say that I wasn't because I don't think I had any other symptoms after that.
like you can't see it. I
Mm.
mean, that would maybe.
Oh, sorry.
I don't
Well,
know. Yeah,
what I
sorry.
was kind of getting at was if his eyes were I think that's what I heard was on his way to the airport, the cab he was in had another passenger in it, and the passenger was the one that noticed he had crazy dilated eyes.
Okay, yeah.
Um, so my thinking, do your eyes like dilate and undilate after a concussion? Because if not, I would have think he would have had dilated eyes at the concussion, which would, I mean, it would have been like I would say probably at least 6 hours after the initial like blow to his head, because he had to go back to
Maybe.
the resort, meet with his friends, and then go find a
Yeah.
doctor.
Well, and even after that too, like the whole people following him thing, he was still going out. Like after even he got jumped, I think they went out that night. They also went out.
Oh
I
right,
don't
that's
know.
true. Yeah, they did go out drinking again.
So he obviously, I don't feel like he'd be that scared if he was still like going out too.
Right.
But I don't know. As far as the concussion, I know that he played. Didn't he play some sports too? Like he was pretty active.
I don't
Maybe
remember.
he had
Probably
like
football.
prior concussions too, and then like when he got jumped, it was like
Yeah,
you
actually,
know,
I did see that one of the theories that maybe he had some prior stuff that just got knocked loose when he got beat up.
yeah, and then it
Um,
just kind of put that final detail on there,
right.
but I don't know.
There's also a theory that Lars was a drug mule, which sounds kind of crazy, but I guess it's actually a much bigger thing in the EU than it is in the states,
Hmm.
our states specifically, because I guess it's probably more of a thing down in like Texas and the like. But um, speaking on the drug mule theory, Lars didn't have any drugs in his belongings. The theory
Right.
is that Lars's friends were the ones that smuggled the drugs back into Germany, and that Lars was staying behind for insurance purposes, making sure that the drugs got there. Um, Lars may have confused the construction worker for a security guard or a cop and thought his friends had gotten caught the day before, and that's why he bolted out with all of his belonging without any of his stuff. Sorry, rather. And this theory kind of also is supported by the Hotel Color Varna being a shadier hotel, which may or may not be
Yeah.
true. Um, And they one of the reasons why they think this theory is credible or more credible is because the reason blah, 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 blah. Why wait to fly home the next day when you could take a coach bus from Varna to several German cities, like major German cities, and then from there go back to where he needs to go. Um, they also think that maybe he was ruffled up by the drug dealers, or just drunk and took a fall and then lied about his injuries to try to not seem suspicious.
Yeah. I feel like though if that happened, he had so many chances to reach out. Not that necessarily
Right.
he would have, but it was like ample opportunities, I feel like.
I don't know. That'd be tricky because if you don't know if your friends have gotten caught,
Like if it was like the cartel or something
yeah.
like that intense.
If you're
Yeah.
worried, if they're gonna kill you, you don't want to also spread their anger to your friends by telling the police, who will then also be angry with you. I don't know if Bulgaria and Germany have like any like uh it was extradition laws or something with an X, you know, what I'm talking about where they like where if you catch our criminals, we'll send them back to you or something.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what it's called, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I don't know if that's a thing between Bulgaria and Germany. Maybe that would be a reason why he wouldn't want to get the authorities involved, but that's a theory. I don't think it's a very good one, to be honest.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't think it's I mean, could it happen? Yeah. Anything really. I mean,
right.
we don't know, but I don't feel like with
Oh,
everything we're given, that's the answer.
also another theory that speaks to the mental illness one is that Lars and his friends could have been experimenting with like its extradition. Thanks, Frank. I knew it was something like that.
Yes. Love that. Thank
Um,
you.
they could have been experimenting with like pot or psychedelics during the trip prior to the 6th, and a lot of times, if you're like predisposed, he wasn't familiarly
Mhm.
predisposed to mental health issues. But if he was still, set up for getting those down the line, having a psychedelic experience, or even like marijuana, if you're not a smoker of it, can set you over the edge to the point where you don't come back. It's happened a lot of times in history.
I
Um,
but if we're going on the fact that and may or may not, if he didn't even take that antibiotic, you know,
right.
I'm wondering. I mean, I guess he was drinking
But
though, so he doesn't.
well, I think that if they were gonna do that, they probably did it before he got the antibiotic.
Yeah, and maybe the antibiotic had
Yeah.
some. If he did take it with him, could have had some
And
effects too.
that could also be he may not have gotten in a fight, or maybe he was just wandering around and people like he got in the wrong place at the wrong time, try to talk to
Yeah,
some guy that wasn't ready to talk to some dude having a mental health issue and just beat the fuck out of him. Or Lars could have just fell really hard for all they know, because he told two different stories to his friends, and this is actually like what happened is Lars told his friends different stories, and evidently they were like sure he was lying, and none of his friends believed his story that he was beaten up, and that's what happened.
yeah. Well, didn't he say like okay, the fight that he got into at the bar with the other fan. He said that they were the people that they sent someone to attack him,
Yeah, yeah.
or it
And
was the
apparently,
yeah.
one of his friends during that like altercation, apparently one of Lars's friends did hear the one of the group of four fans that was fighting with Lars say something about it's really easy to hire someone to beat people up in Bulgaria.
Well,
But apparently Lars' story the next morning wasn't convincing his friends, so who knows. Um
yeah.
that okay, there's also a theory on that Lars went home with girls that night and didn't end up just walking about by himself, which also is kind of weird. And
Did not hear that.
this makes more sense to why he would have left his friends after the bar. It just seems weird to me. I mean, don't get me wrong. I too have walked around like foreign places at night just because that seems really cool. But if
Yeah.
you're in like a completely different country and you
Use the
just
buddy system.
yeah, and you just got in like a scuffle with some dudes at a bar, I don't know why you would just leave by yourself. So this theory makes a lot more sense to me. I don't know if it's true or not, but so Lars has a girlfriend at home, and he's off on vacation. She's not around. Keep that in mind. Evidently, according to I think it was his mother or maybe his friends. I can't remember who said this, and this wasn't a part of the official story. But apparently, they were shown CCT footage of Lars. He walks out of the bar that night, and he's seen talking to two women for a long time. And then this is like the bar is about to close, and Lars, I guess, goes back into the bar, and he's seen like looking for his friends. Doesn't see
Mhm.
his friends anywhere, and that's when he decides to just leave with the girls. And his friends can't find him. They go to McDonald's and they go back to the resort. Um, Lars goes home with the girl or girls, and he's maybe he was offered like pot or a psychedelic. Both are like super popular in the EU and especially in this part of the EU because it's a party town.
Mhm.
Um,
That'd be interesting because I'm like wondering what the hell he did by himself until the
right,
morning.
right. That's why I think this makes a lot of sense. If he's not having a mental health issue, which I think he might have been. I'll go back to that in a second. But
Okay. Yeah.
so maybe he takes psychedelics or a pot with him, and he gets, that's maybe that's where the reality break happens,
Mhm.
or not, uh, not,
Who knows?
um, maybe one of the girls' boyfriends comes in and sees him or something, or maybe the whole thing was a ruse to just rob Lars, and instead of like telling his friends that he went home with a girl because they don't want maybe he doesn't want them to know, maybe he just tells them the story about he was jumped by those four dudes, which makes sense. I mean, I guess if that's a good cover story if you didn't want to tell the truth. Um, he could have also like gotten too drunk and on the way back to the resort fell really hard and maybe he doesn't remember what happened to him. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's the theory about him leaving with another girl, with girls, I should say, and yeah. Then
Honestly,
he of
I
course
mean, that would I like I said, I had no idea what the heck he did all night.
right.
So I kind of would answer that if that's true.
Um, what was I gonna say earlier? Damn it, forgot.
You said something about mentioning his mental illness again. I don't know if that's where
Oh
you.
right, yeah. Okay, so the story.
Mhm.
So if you go back to the beginning, I said that there was quotes from his friends that were speaking about how Lars seemed normal for the first week, other than he wasn't eating. This is what the German police came out with that they interviewed his friends. That was their story. His friends actually later came out and said that is not what they said, and Lars was not acting normal the entire time. He
Oh.
was being paranoid and just weird the whole time, and that it just got progressively worse and that they were to the point where they were going to ignore Lars's request to keep going home, and they were going to stay with him, but they ended up going because he convinced them that he was actually going to be okay. Um, but apparently to them, he was actually not acting normal that entire evening.
Well, that puts like a big hole too because everyone's like, syncing it up to the concussion or like,
Right.
when he initially started being paranoid, but if he's been kind of like this from the get-go, that answers a lot of questions too.
Right. And now there is a little bit of a silver lining to this story. I don't think I have it. I didn't save it, but in here I'll pull it up real quick and see if I can. In Brazil, I think it was. So, oh shit. Nope, not that website.
Feel like the story is like It's Always Sunny, where Charlie has like the red string. That's how I feel because I'm like, this happened and then this was over
For
here and then
real.
she said this.
And then you get to the Kostov and there's like 10 different fucking
Oh my
pinpoints.
gosh. Yes.
Um, so in 2016, there is an English speaking homeless man found in Velho City in Brazil. And he looks uncannily similar to Lars. God damn it. And I
Oops,
can't find a picture
sorry.
of him. Well, anyway, this guy has no memory of who he is. And sorry, I'm trying to read ahead and see. Yeah, doesn't know who he is. He looks just like Lars. He's like got crazy hair, a beard, looks super disheveled.
Oh, I saw a photo of this, but I didn't know if this like how accurate. Anyways,
Well,
I feel like you're gonna explain it, but
yeah, hold on. I'm trying to find the fucking article I read it on. Okay, sorry. So he's tested and they shave him up and they figure out that it's actually not Lars, sadly, but it is somebody else named Anton Pilipa who has been missing for 5 years.
oh my gosh, are you serious? That person was missing
Yeah,
too?
and looks just like Lars.
I did say think they looked familiar, like the same, you know.
Okay, here's a picture of him. Maybe this.
I guess it's just the blonde hair though, maybe.
Okay, yeah, Let me show this. So this is Lars. This is his like age, whatever picture, and this is the guy they found in Brazil.
Yeah, they look
He looks
very similar.
just like him, but it turned out to be somebody else. But that's kind of a silver lining because that guy's found now, at least. But
Oh yeah, we
Lars,
should have done his story too.
yeah, maybe he's on there. But Lars is still out there, hopefully. I think so.
I think he is too, and you know, there are those cases where people do have concussions, they forget who they are, and they do come
Right.
back later, you know, so who knows? I
Um.
definitely, I mean, I feel like if he passed away, oh yeah, I did also see a theory too, and this probably is like way wild, but it was something about, because I guess he was running where the planes would be at one point in the video
Oh, really?
too. And some people say that, you know how some people hide in a, oh, what's the part of the plane that there's some people
Cargo,
that have tried,
the hole,
may, um,
the landing gear.
yeah, landing gear. So some people are like theorizing that maybe he went in the landing gear and either like fell
Mm.
out when the plane was
Yeah.
taken off or got crushed. But if he got crushed, they would obviously see something there, you know,
Right.
but I don't know. Like that's also a wild theory too. I guess some people have survived that. It's really rare to survive that, but it's
Right.
possible, I guess.
I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't think he's dead anywhere, but I also can't believe he hasn't been found yet. I can't believe he hasn't been found either way, actually.
I know, but there's so many missing people. Like I was Googling the statistics today and I was like
Oh yeah,
almost
there's a
baffled at the number.
ridiculous number of people who are missing.
Yeah, it is. So like, you know, there is a very high chance he's still out there. I hope he is for his mom's sake and I hope that, you know, they get reunited.
Uh, But yeah, I think that's all the theories I had on this mofo.
Yeah, that's all I have too. I mean,
Um,
we did our best.
yeah, if you see Lars, you might want to tell somebody. It could be a missing
Yeah, we should
person.
have wrote
Could be
down the phone
Lars.
numbers to call,
I
even
know.
though he's probably not going to be over here,
Yeah,
but you
doubtful.
never know.
Um, but so since I figured most of our stories are going to be like complete downers, like this one is. I mean, obviously this is really sad if he has some kind of mental illness and then disappears and is missing.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. There's no ending to it,
right.
so it's a little.
So I was gonna try to do like a little segment where we show some funnier videos on the old tube, but unfortunately this week I've been super busy and haven't had a whole lot of time to find a whole lot of videos. But I do have two little silly videos to show you.
All right, well, let's end it on a good note.
Yeah, I know. I've been meaning to fix that timer because I haven't. I made it 4 years ago when we weren't married.
Oh,
Um,
I like how it says caretaker too. That's sweet. And handler.
oh, got to change screens. So this is close to where Lars went missing, and I wonder if this guy has seen him. That's a joke. But you should see this.
Okay.
This is a live art installation or something along those lines. I don't know if that's the correct verbiage for this, but This is a
What is
man
the
who is
movie?
walking around Bulgaria, and he has this apparatus attached to his head, and he's got ice cream cones with like dye in
What
them,
is that?
and
Okay.
the ice cream cones are all melting all over his face and body.
Oh wait, okay, I see it now. Oh, that looks so cold.
I mean, I feel like today's the day for that, to be honest. It's like 100 degrees here.
I could use one of those ice
I
cream.
wish it would hold it lower so I could eat the ice cream cones.
Yeah, that's kind of a bummer. Like it doesn't even go in his mouth.
I wonder if he has to move them around so it's not going in his eyes, because that would suck ass.
It looks like it's set up almost perfectly just to go on his shirt. I don't even see it on his
Yeah.
face. Or
Well, one
oh
of them's
wait.
going on his back or his head or something. The yellow, his
Oh
back, I
yeah, it
guess.
is.
I don't know. Okay, so the yellow
Isn't it ice
doesn't.
cream? Are you? It is, right?
I
I can't
don't.
even
It's
remember.
ice cream cones. That's all I know. It looks like ice cream. I don't know what else would melt like that though. If it wasn't ice cream with dye in it or something.
I love that actually.
Kind of looks relaxing, but
We're on to
also
something.
he's gonna be super sticky in the end. So I don't know.
Yeah, he's gonna feel gross, that's for sure.
Oh man,
I like how everyone's just
he had his shirt
they
off in the last picture. That was weird.
I didn't even see that. Was it subliminal messaging?
I think his shirt's off. I think he's holding it up on a stick.
Oh yeah, it
But then he goes back to having it
that
on.
is
So
weird. He has to be thorough with his
oh
art
yeah, back to
projects,
his
so
shirtlessness. Okay.
oh yeah, he's definitely got his shirt off. Yeah.
Oh wait, and there's pictures of the shirt. Oh, that's cool. That looks like a crime scene photo. Somebody
It looks
died in
almost
that.
like dye, like a tie-dye thing.
In the last video I have, which is kind of just fucking stupid, but I thought it was kind of funny. There's a dog whose name is Harry Potter.
That is
And
pretty
it's just a
awesome.
husky. And this is actually in Varna, Bulgaria.
Oh, what a sweet boy
This
or
dog's name
girl.
is Harry Potter.
I love him.
What a weird name for a dog. And
Yeah, that is an awesome.
there's no explanation. Just the Siberian husky Harry Potter having fun at the beach.
Just living his best life. I wish I was there.
Where's Dobby?
You know, you ended it on a good note. I mean, I'm sure everyone's super happy
Yeah,
now.
okay, you can't be crying through can't be crying looking at a dog named Harry Potter playing on the beach. This is impossible.
Yeah. I mean, why don't you try? I don't know. Sorry,
Okay.
my cat is like a grumpy old man right now. He's like, you're not where you're usually at 7 o'clock, pissing me
Dude,
off.
I've seen so many videos of him and Mason getting
Oh yeah.
getting close on Instagram or Snapchat.
Yeah, he is a whore. I
I can
mean,
only imagine
my cat.
petting your cat. Depression gone. Exactly. Abracadabra.
You're welcome.
Depressioso.
It's cheaper than therapy.
Um, I can only imagine petting your cat feels like you're rubbing a big ball sack. Is this true?
He
I
has a
think I've
little bit
pet
of
your cat
fur.
before, I'm pretty sure, but
Yeah, it kind of feels like velvet, honestly. And like
mm.
in the wintertime, he'll grow a little bit more
Oh, do you have
hair.
to oil him?
But
I heard that's a thing.
no, but you have to bathe him. You're supposed to bathe him like once a week because they don't have fur to
Right.
absorb the oil. Goddamn. And so he leaves. If you don't bathe them, they'll leave like oil spots. It's gross. That's like
That
the
sounds
grossest thing
gross.
about having a hairless cat, you know. But and he's deaf, so he really doesn't know how loud he's fucking being, you know.
Well, we
But
don't promote animal abuse here, so
oh wait, we have to do our little
yeah, we have
wheel
to do the
thingy.
wheel. We have to do the wheel.
Yeah.
Let me
I hope
bring it
it's
up.
please just like easy peasy. Let's do this. We
Says
deserve it.
it's the wrong wheel. Hold on. Open list. Got so many of these wheels. It's insane. All right. Oh yeah, I can make it full screen, but not until or not after I start the wheel. Okay. Are we ready?
Nice, nice, nice.
Make this really fucking annoying sound.
No whammy, no. Can you change the sound or is it like
I don't know.
can you change the colors? Is how customizable is this?
Oh, we're just a little advertising next time.
I am down with that.
All right, I gotta fucking take it off this list now. Do. Luckily, reading's my skills.
Okay, I had to write that down.
God damn, I can't find it. It's in here somewhere. There it is. Not anymore though. Biatch.
Nice. Bye.
Take it easy. Don't forget, we're not superstitious. We're just a little stitious.
All right. Have a good night.
You too, Paige.
See
Bye,
ya.
guys.
Bye.